wanted to show you how I added the clickable options on this gallery. We have this gallery on several of the pages, but you just asked today if these could be clickable. So I wanted to show you how to do it. I've gone ahead and done that with the home page to show you, but I wanted to show you if you want to add that functionality to the secondary pages, you do it this way. So this is the gallery. Click on the gallery, and then you want to click on settings. Then you're going to come in here to layout. Come down to customize layout. And then I have this one already clicked on. So to show you kind of the preview of it, I have this text that appears over, or we have those things, and then now it's also linked. So what you have to do to get it there, let's go back here to settings, go to here to layout, come here to customize layout, and then you want to click on the title, because before I didn't have the title set to display because I didn't realize you wanted that. So now I've turned that on, and then by default it has it over image, which is great. You can also adjust the rows and everything, but I've kind of put these in the best format, so I would leave them the way they are because I think this is what fits best on mobile and desktop. So that's about it. That's all you really need to do here. So you have to just turn on the title and come here. Now, by default, all the other ones have they don't have an overlay, or they have a very light overlay. So I went ahead and I chose black, and then I'm choosing 60% overlay. That way it shows nice and dark up behind the text. The other thing I did was I changed the text style. So again, this is under design, and then you want to go to text, and I changed it to red because the default was black. So you can also adjust where the placement of it is. You can also adjust the size of it, although try to keep it a good size so it fits in case you have longer things. But let's make it a little bit bigger if you want. Kind of do maybe 18. All right, so now all this is set. The last thing that you have to do is turn on the linkability too, because you asked, well, can this link to a page? And yes, you can do that. So I think you've already added the links here. I will double check that. But to get links to work on these galleries, you want to come here to settings, and then I had it as nothing happens, but you want to change it to a link opens, and that way it'll open up a link when they click on that image. So that's that. So now these should be set to go to the pages that you would like them to go to. So we'll go back to home, and let's look at one of these other pages. And I don't know if you want to do this with all of them or not, but I wanted to show you how, so that you can do that if you'd like to. So let's say this one here. If you want to add the things, we'll do this one more time. You come here to settings. Let's go to layout, then go to customize layout, and then turn on, whoops, I scrolled down to the bottom. Turn on this title, and then this will have the on over image. So let's look at it, see if you have any titles on these. You do. Okay. So now the next step would be to change the color of the text and also the linkability. So let's go here to settings. We'll change it to a link opens. And then let's go here to design, because this is where the text color is. And we'll go here to red. And then let's make sure that the overlay is there. See, the default is no overlay, but if you want an overlay, you can adjust this accordingly. So let's do 60% again. And there you have it. So now that one's working. We'll do one more just to be sure, because it looks like that was one that you wanted to link. So let's see if these ones have titles. And to know where you put the links, by the way, which you already probably know, is here. So you want to add the links to the images. You don't have one here, so we will not add this to this one, because I don't know if you wanted that functionality on this. But if you wanted it, you just want to go into those settings, turn on the title, change the color of the text, add an overlay, and then you can have those function that way. But you might not want that on every page, because over time that can get a little bit harder to manage if you want to update those, and sometimes you overlook them because they are a rollover instance. And one thing to note is people may not roll over these just because they just think they're pictures. So it's I think it's kind of fun to have, but you might not want it on every page. So that is how you do it. Make sure to hit publish when you're done, and let me know if you have any other questions. One other thing I will say, just on the SEO front, when you're doing your managed media, you have this title here. These titles also double as your alt image text. So if you're not showing the titles, this is a really great opportunity to name them with good keywords such as DC comedy shows or DC comedy school, comedy classes, improv classes, all that kind of stuff. This is a great place to do that because this tells Google what's in that image. So using keywords here is great. Now you might not want to do that for the rollovers, because if you want to direct them to a page or something, you want it to be more specific to what page it's going to link to. But if you're not using those rollovers, this is a great opportunity to add those keywords in. Same thing with all of these images, actually. If you click here on this little settings icon, you can come down here and let's make sure that these images are named appropriately. So LitFest is nice, but I think Washington DC Comedy Festival. Actually, it's not Washington DC Comedy Festival is a highly searched term, so I think that's a good one to focus on. And then you can put Lit Comedy Fest after it. So this is a good example of a SEO title that works well for that image. You can also link that to somewhere if you want to link it by scrolling down, right here. You can add a link if you want to link it to another page. Let's come down here a little bit further and look at some of this stuff. Same thing here if you want to text here. Now I think these ones you have rolling over and so forth, but if you can incorporate keywords here, these are all good places to do it because Google indexes these images, and if you name them with good keywords that are being searched, it helps Google find and index you for those keywords. So again, it's not always going to be applicable because if you're linking to another page or something, it might not work for that. But just keep it in mind as you're adding images and galleries that is a good opportunity for SEO. So let's come in here to this one. So this is, so we have Laffy 2017. So this is what comes in by default for that image. So let's call this instead DC Comedy Festival. Lit Comedy. And we can do that for all of these actually, because it's good to just have, and I don't always say to use the same exact term on all of these, but because they're all on the same page and they're not really doing anything differently, I think it's good to it's okay to link these as the same. Whoops, went into the crop mode. All right, one more time. Let's click on, we can get this to come up. All right, okay, this one actually does have it, so that's good. We'll scroll down, check all these others. These ones don't necessarily have that option in it. So yeah, so this is good. So I'm going to hit publish. I just kind of wanted to show you a couple things more with the SEO so that you could see kind of where you can do a little bit more optimization as you're adding new pictures in. I didn't do this with a lot of the images because I figured you were swapping them out. But going through and maybe using the page title keywords on images, those are all things that are good to do. Also, let's come into here to manage posts, and I wanted to show you the same thing in your blog posts. So when you click on this, and I know these are satire things, so these posts are not necessarily being written for SEO, but down the road, if you want to start writing new blog posts that use some of the keywords, those specific key phrases for things to get found for real niche things, I would advise it would be a good idea to do. So maybe you add a category as just like general DC comedy news or something like that. But anyway, let's go into here. This image also has alt text. So what you could do for every single image here, this is a great opportunity to put in some of those keywords And the way I would do it is you don't want to stuff them, but you want to say, let's say, in this case, this is the satire, and I can't remember what the keywords were for that. Satire comedy. We'll just say satire comedy, and then you could say, you can use that that title, or you can use whatever you'd like. So in here to describe what the picture is. So I don't have, let's see, I want to get this whole thing so I can copy and paste it. So I'm going to come down here, come here to this, and then we'll say lead singer of the police. So there we go. And that's great, because if you have every image that has this alt text and it's all satire comedy, and then it describes also kind of what that image is about, this will also trigger to Google that, oh wow, she has hundreds of posts and they have hundreds of images that all use the word satire comedy. That's good for SEO, because then they'll start ranking you higher for this, and your pictures might start coming through into Google Images and so forth for that term. So make sure to add those alt texts here, because that's a very good keyword opportunity. But again, make sure you're also describing what's in the picture, so you can kind of use it this way, where you have, you know, the keyword phrase dash or colon, and then put what's in the image, because that also tells the user and Google what that image is about specifically. But incorporating those keywords at the beginning is a nice way to thread them in naturally and well, so that Google rewards you with better ranking. Last little thing about the SEO too is there is the SEO over here. Now by default it takes the title from your blog, and then it takes the first couple paragraphs. But if you want to write something specific for these, feel free to add those in. And this is also a great opportunity to say comedy satire by, and this only lets you have so much, so you can't do, let's get rid of some of this, because it really only shows so much. So we could say comedy satire writing by Aaron Atkins. And then you can keep this Newcastle. So that's an opportunity to write it in here. Same thing up here. You could change the title to say comedy satire, and then have that address here, because this is basically what shows up in the Google world, and it even shows you a little preview of it here. But the reason to do this is because it just triggers to Google that, hey, this is about comedy satire, because nobody's searching lead singer of the police involved, you know, nobody's searching for that. So, but they are searching for comedy satire. So if you have hundreds of pages that have comedy satire as part of that page title, even if you're not using it as a blog title exactly, that can help. And another little thing you can do too in each of these posts is do the same thing. Have a little, what do you call it? Like a signature that just says lit comedy. For some reason it's coming through black. Oops. Oh, there's a whole bunch of copy here that's hidden. I'm not sure. Let's see. Did I just mess that up? I don't know what was here before. I think. Oh. Okay. It looks like there's some extra copy here. And this might just be actually a replicant of, yes, it looks like it is. Okay, I'm going to get rid of that. That was just hidden copy. Make sure you don't have anything. For some reason, yeah, that was black. But anyway, what you can do here is add a little signature that says something like comedy satire article brought to you by Lit Comedy. And then you can also do another plug to get people to kind of learn more. Interested in writing comedy? Or comedy writing, take one of our comedy writing classes. And then you can actually link this to maybe your classes page. Or if you have a page that specifically talks about the writing classes, you can do that here. Now to get this URL, I just open up a new window and I go to the site, if we can get there. And then you can come to whatever, come and find basically the page that you want to send them to. So if it's the school, that's great. Or if you want to go to comedy classes, that's great. So then what you want to do, you'll see up here, you want to copy this link, then go back to the editor window and paste it. That's how I kind of move move and set up these links. And of course, turn off this link opens in a new tab because this is staying on the same site. So there's no reason to do that unless you're going to an outside site. And then hit save. And then this, again, this is a great keyword because it is now a keyword that is being searched, and it's also linked to a page that has more information on that. This triggers to Google that that page is very important for this term. And there's tons of different terms in the list, so feel free to kind of vary them up on every article. But I would always include a few things at the bottom of your post to just kind of include the word comedy, satire, and then, yeah, maybe even link them to one of your or several of your other pages. That is this kind of linking basically makes all your pages more important in Google's world. So every time there's a new link to your classes page or your school page, it just shows Google that, hey, that page must be pretty important. And she's linking to it using keywords that people are searching. I should show that to them. So make sure you're threading these in wherever you go. And you'll see examples of how I set those up here on some of these other pages. So for example, the shows page, let's go here. When you scroll down and you have these little blocks of copy, oh, it looks like these got overlapped. Let's move that down. And you'll see this is a great little tool too to adjust spacing in Wix. If you need to move everything down in sync, use this little drag handle. It's really helpful. You can click multiple items by shift clicking on them. You can also use these tools here to align things if you want to align things better as you edit things and things get bumped around. Those are just a few little tips, but you'll see these little keyword phrases here. I'm linking those to pages, and these are really, really good for building your SEO. So definitely incorporate those into your blog post whenever you can, as well as these pages. You can keep expanding upon this copy and adding more links to different things or events or even the blog posts themselves. It's great to interlink all over your site within your text, because that, again, really triggers Google to see that that's an important SEO term for whatever page you're linking to. So that's it. I just wanted to give you some quick tips. Let me know if you have any other questions, and happy Wixing!